images.
Like, what kind of cells?
Yeah, where they. I teach in Spanish. No, they're definitely on there. This, I'm doing it to myself.
Oh, you're.
Yeah. Then every time I come, it gets. Let's see.
We not start getting
And there's gonna get. I got you though. Yeah. Oh my God. We totally see. But I won't get it because this is. We need to be reading. We need to be reading. We need to read. I'm begging. For the sake of.
Anyone else? Yeah. I do need more.
We're doing good. We're doing good.
How did I beat you? Oh.
Hi, Nazar. Hi, Tommy.
I want to.
Yeah, we definitely do need more. We do. Yeah, we're good.
That's good. Good job. Well. I'm just like freaking out.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Well, it's when you learn Spanish, figure it out. Yeah, it's very important. Not really fun.
We're all good.
But
I just
like if my mom. Yeah.
We wanted to make them like.
I was like. No, every single time. I'm the primate.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Well, like, I was we're reading so
Ready?
You wanna do, durante nuestra break. That's cool.
Are you good?
But I think.
Yeah. Share the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it.
Creo que grabaron.
You are correct. I did.
Wait, Nate.
Yes. Además,
I think I carry over issues. Mini microphone. They're going to have some. I mean, one person's on question now. That's what I'm hoping.
Look, I burned myself.
Yeah.
I burned myself.
The meeting has called to order for the Student Senate Business Meeting Friday, Thursday, February 6th at 7:05 PM in Mammal Hall 113. Director, you're doing, Chief of Staff Ossick will be doing roll call.
All right, Regent Addington. Vice President Ramirez.
Here,
Chief of Staff Optic here. Director of Administration Gonzalez. Director of DEI, Wen.
Here.
Director of Finance, Lacey. Here. Director of Leadership Development, Lasso. Let's give a second. Director of Marketing, Mike. Director of Recruitment, Hammond. Coordinator of Wellness, here's Ari Gums. Okay, got it. Senator El Roxy.
Here.
Senator Norby.
Here.
Senator Jimenez Avalos. Senator Ricardo Palacios. Senator Benitez. Here. Senator John. Oh. Calm down. Senator Brady.
Here.
Senator Gomez. Here. Senator Hirschbaum Harding.
Here.
Senator Ringo.
Here.
Senator Vaughn. Senator Wright.
Here.
Senator Valderas.
Here.
Senator Pepper.
Here.
Senator Lopez. Senator Meister.
he's here on job.
On Zoom, okay. Ambassador, sorry, Fire. All right. Ambassador, Aisha.
Here.
All right. That concludes. roll call.
Awesome. For our first item of the agenda is going to be reading and approval of old minutes. Is there any changes to the previous minutes from December 5th? If there's no discussion, now we're on to a period of voting. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the old minutes has been adopted. Okay. Our next item of business is the approval of the agenda. Is there any edits to the agenda? Senator Brady,
I motion to strike Senator Donna, she's no longer here.
is there a second? Senator Piper, is there any discussion? Now we're on to a period of voting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. In the opinion of the chair, Senator John has been struck from the agenda. Is there any other discussion for the approval of the agenda?
One over here.
Oh, Director Hyman? Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Right, the appointment of graduate studies student Senator Rebecca Gomez.
Senator Hirschbaum Harding,
I motion to strike the appointment of graduate city senator.
is there a seconded? Senator Valadares, is there any discussion to strike the appointment? If there's no further discussion, now we're on to a period of voting. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. In the opinion of the chairs, Rebecca Gomez has been struck from new business. Is there any other discussion for the approval of the agenda? If there's no further discussion, now we're on to a period of voting. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the approval of the agenda has been adopted. Okay, now we're on to next business, which is open forum. Is there anyone here for open forum? If there's nobody here for open forum, last call. In the opinion of the chair, open forum has been closed. Okay, our next item of business is unfinished business. Since there's no unfinished business, now we're on to new business. For the new business, the first appointment will be appointment for the College of Public Affairs and Community Service, Student Senator Lucy Martin. Is there a proponent speech?
Yes.
Yeah, there is.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lucy and I'm a junior here at UNO, majoring in emergency management through the College of Public Affairs and Community Service. My concentrations are in fire service management and intelligence security. I'm also pursuing minors in fire service management and political science. My passion for community service, safety, and preparedness started in high school when I became involved with my local fire department. I saw firsthand how critical services can impact the lives of individuals in the communities and their families. And that experience deeply shaped my desire to serve others. Now, as Vice President of SERVE, Students for Emergency Readiness, Volunteering, and Engagement, I continue to find ways to bring our community together and promote service opportunities. In addition to my volunteer work, I currently am an emergency planning and business continuity intern at Metropolitan Utilities District, where I help update policies, procedures, and plans to ensure the best practices in emergency management and business continuity are being followed. My role has provided me with valuable experience, and I've had the opportunity to participate in important trainings such as ICS 300 and courses offered by FEMA. These experiences are helping me grow as a young professional in emergency management and reinforcing my passion for service in the community. Before MUD, I also worked at Northwest Bank for almost 3 years, which taught me how to connect with people, listen to their needs, and assist them in meaningful ways. I truly enjoy helping others, and my experiences in customer service have allowed me to step out of my small town Iowa bubble and expand my perspective, something I know will benefit me in this role. Along with my passion for emergency management, I've also developed a strong interest in political science and security issues in the modern world. This interest led me to apply for the CPAC Senate position, which was recommended to me by a fellow student. The more I learned about the SGA, the more I saw how my skills and values align with what this role requires. I believe in the power of collaboration and creating opportunities for all voices to be heard. If elected, I will work tirelessly to ensure that every student's opinion feels valued and is heard. And one of my top priorities is to promote inclusivity and unity within our community. I want every student, regardless of their background, to feel welcomed and supported in their college experience. This is especially important within the College of Public Affairs and Community Service, where we have such a diverse and passionate group of students. My goal is to help foster an environment where everyone can thrive, contribute, and be heard. Thank you.
Now we're on to a period of questions.
If there's no further questioning, now we're on. Now we're on to a period of discussion. Is there any discussion on Lucy Martin? Senator Gomez?
I knew Lucy my freshman year. She was in the CPA Scholars Academy. And my time in knowing her, she was very hardworking. She was very kind. And she was very smart. So I think, you know, from the speech we heard today, I think she's committed to this position. I think she'll be a good thing to them.
Is there any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, now we're on to a period of voting, and then to appoint a student senator, it requires a 2/3 majority vote. All those in favor, please raise your placards. And then all those opposed, please raise your placards. In the opinion of the chair, Lucy Martin has been appointed as a Senate. Our next item of business is the appointment for Student Activities Budget Commission, Brian Benitez. Is there a proponent speech?
And good evening, everybody. I'm Brian Benitez, some of you guys, you guys know me already. I got interested in the SAB student senator position because Drew sent out a wonderful email and I was like, you know what, I feel like this would be a good opportunity to give back to the in a more profound way, especially through funding. As we've seen recently, there have been a lot of, incidents going on in the world, so I feel like this would be a good place to be able to utilize the resources we have to best support our student organizations and help them continue keep running so that we don't have a defunding problem as last year. So I just really want to make sure that our student organizations are best helped in the best way possible and just ensure that going forward, they all have opportunities to continue to help serve all the students on campus and just make sure that they're as supported as possible.
On your question.
Point of personal privilege, not related to you. Is that microphone actually on?
I don't know, is it?
No.
Hello?
Wow, it's really not as loud as I.
What on my mind?
Is there any questions? For Senator Benitez?
No. Now we're on to a period of discussion for our candidate for SABC Student Senator. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, now we're on to a period of voting. And then for all appointments for the Student Activities Budget Commission, it requires a 2/3 majority vote. All those in favor, please raise your placards. And then all those opposed, please raise your placards. In the opinion of the chair, Brian Benitez has been appointed for SABC. I made you one. Here. Just order teaching. For our next item of business is the appointment for SABC Student at Large, Kat. King. Is there a proponent speech? Oh.
I'm Kat Koenig. I'm a junior here at UNO. I'm studying women's and gender studies, and I just got a minor in Spanish. I'm also an honors student. I am a full-time student here and I also have a part-time job. And the reason I'm interested in SABC is because I was actually a student at large commissioner last year. And I actually really enjoyed this experience and I found it really fulfilling that I got to do something for the student body and also have some involvement in what goes on here with the student government and student fees. I feel like it's important to have people on this commission who aren't as involved in student government or student organizations to represent like more average students who don't have as much pull in those things. And I just enjoy donating my time and also my anxieties because I'm very financially driven, very anxious about money. So it feels kind of productive to use that to the student body's advantage. Thank you.
Period of question.
Now we're on to a period of discussion. Is there any discussion? Senator Hirschbaum Harding.
I got to work with Kat last year on the SABC commission, and they were very dedicated. They were very thorough. They did a really wonderful job of serving in that role. Honestly, it's a miracle that anyone would want to do it again, especially as a student at large. And I think it's very valuable to have people on the team who have done it before. And so they get to focus a lot more on the details rather than just figuring out the process, which is quite complicated. So I think it's going to be really beneficial to not only have somebody who is very dedicated and very thorough the first time, but is going to have the ability to just kind of be that stabilizing presence in it. And I think that they did a really good job of listening to all those presentations, picking up a lot of information, and nitpicking it in the way that a commissioner should. So I definitely would recommend them for this position again.
Is there any other discussion on our candidate? If there's no further discussion, now we're on to a period of voting. All those in favor, please raise your placards. And then all those opposed, please raise your placards. And then in the opinion of the chair, Kat has been appointed for SABC. And then our next item of business is the appointment for SABC student at large, Maxine Frickensure. Is there a proponent speech?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi guys, I'm Maxine Fickenture and I'm a freshman studying business administration with a concentration in entrepreneurship. When I first got the email to apply, I knew it was something I had to do because growing up, my parents always taught me the importance of influence and how when put to good use, that influence can change lives. This is something I took with me throughout my high school career. I was able to be involved in organizations such as FFA, FBLA, Student Council, National Honor Society, One Act, Speech, Choir, Band, and several other organizations. Through leadership positions in these organizations, I've learned the importance of advocating for yourself, your organizations, and those who don't have the platform that you do. Going into college, I knew it would be vital for me to continue to grow and change as a leader. And I've done this through being a part of FYLC, the honors program, the SALT company, and the UNO treble choir, and also working as a UNO ambassador. Through these organizations, I've met many different types of students and seen just how diverse UNO's campus is. This is why I think being a SABC commissioner is so important. We have to give all students the chance to grow and create a better path for themselves. Thank you.
Now we're on to a period of questioning.
For information.
Yes.
Is someone allowed to be a student at large if they're also a member of FYLC? Since they are technically like an active member of SGA, not just like a general member in the way a member of the student body would be.
I'm
No.
doing some checking right now.
I'm sorry, I hate to be the person asking
Thanks
that
for-
question.
Thanks for pointing that out, Senator Hirschbaum Harding.
Other than that, they seem wonderful. But thought that question should happen now and not at SABC.
Let me look. What?
Their conflicts of interest, isn't it?
It also might be if there is no distinct answer, that the answer is just the same rule that applies for us when voting for student government, which would just be that if appointed, this commissioner would not be allowed to actually vote on the final budget approval for student government since they're technically an active member.
Yeah, as far as bylaws go, it's, let me look, as far as bylaws go, it's all right. And from what I can read here,
Sounds good to me.
because it explicitly says you can't say like senators or people involved with budget preparation, that's not
Okay.
allowed, but.
And then I have no other qualms. I just wanted to double check.
Is there any further discussion on our candidate?
And if something comes up.
Oh, isn't it like under like the policy index with like in the very bottom?
Just move forward. And
Okay.
if we need to change something.
We can change it. Fine. Is there any further discussion on our candidate? If there's no further discussion, now we're on to a period of voting. All those in favor, please raise your placards. Then all those opposed, please raise your placards. And then in the opinion of the chair, Maxine has been appointed for SABC. And then our next item of business is the appointment for SABC student at large, Jeffrey Pasapera. Is there a proponent speech?
Yes.
Oh, you are.
Hello, SGA. First, thank you, Chloe, for your consideration, and thank you, Drew, for giving me this opportunity. Secondly, I apologize, SGA, for not being present today. Chloe informed me that I have 10 minutes to speak, but as much as I would love to persuade you all, I know your time is valuable, and these meetings can run quite long, so I'll keep my introduction brief. My name is Jeffrey Paspera, and I'm a graduate student in the Computer Science Department. I graduated in May 2024 with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. I am an immigrant who grew up in a lower income household. Money has always been a limited resource in my family. Because of this, I believe that financial resources are among the greatest tools we can harness, and when used wisely, they have the power to truly help people. I currently work for NPPD, serving 84 out of 93 counties in Nebraska as a forecast analyst. My role involves predicting the state's future electricity needs. With this information, we can estimate energy demand, plan for future power generation, and analyze fuel prices. As a public company, we do not operate for profit, but instead strive to provide the best electricity rates in Nebraska. If anyone is interested in seeing whether they chose the right nominee, I'm an open book who loves having meaningful conversations and thinking philosophically. If you don't find me procrastinating at the library or pulling my hair out in my office, you can probably find me in my garden, tending to my plants. However, the best chance of finding me would be out in wooden trails with my dogs. With that said, I will leave the remaining 9 minutes to you all, and I hope you will consider me for this position. Thank you.
Yeah, we agree.
And then if there's any questions, you can definitely direct them to Director Hammond to ask Jeffrey. Now, after the questioning, now we're on to a period of voting. All those in favor, please raise your placards. And then all those opposed, please raise your placards. And then in the opinion of the chair, Jeffrey has been appointed for SABC. Okay. Our next item of business is the presentations of our agencies as well as question and answering. Our first presentation will be from the First Generation Student Agency, Director. What are your last name? From our both co-directors. Yeah.
So, and Vito Mendoza.
Here you go.
Oh my God. That's what came out of this year, by the way. I'm kidding.
Do you guys want the? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Good evening. My name is Jerry Brito Mendoza. Quick introduction in case you guys don't remember us. Again, my name is Jerry Brito Mendoza. I'm a 4th year studying human resources and also studying graphic design. And
hi, everyone. It's good to see familiar faces again. My name is Mula, and I had a really long introduction, I think. So let's just say that I'm a bio and English major.
yep. And today we're going to be representing FGSA, or First Generation Student Agency. And yeah, honestly, let's get started. So our mission really is, foster that diverse and inclusive community. We want to offer both academic and emotional support in terms of offering school supplies and really just creating that safe environment for first generation students to, come by, feel welcome, feel encouraged, but also to share their experiences. We also want to emphasize that these first generation students, by sharing their experiences, they're going to be raising awareness about first generation issues. And, even students who don't identify as first generation students can still identify with our common issues. And together, that's the whole purpose of, having this community together. And yeah, overall, leadership, life, and soft skills, we do all of it, we try our best, but yeah. And we just wanted to give a quick recap about our experience this past fall semester. As a quick note, last year, FGSA was very known for giving tons of free self-care kits, having this end of the year bash, and really take the stress away type events. But this year we've been a lot more experimental. We really want to redefine what FGSA does, how we give back to first generation students. And so that's why this year you've seen a complete shift, the types of events we have. We've been having more professional speakers come in, having different resources on campus come in, having social activities, planning to have more community service activities and really just connecting with the community. Overall, this past fall semester, my experience, it was definitely a learning experience trying to be a leader while also, balancing everything on top of schoolwork. But overall, I would say I had a pretty good fall experience, How about you? Do you want to share a bit?
I had a really great time with SGA. I really do appreciate like all of our officers, Jerry, and also like Teresa and a bunch of the members here because I got really sick last semester and just like the network here has been amazing. I'm excited for the spring semester and what's there to come. I definitely think with being an agency director, there has been a lot more autonomy compared to like being from a tier 3 organization. So kind of making that transition was a learning curve for sure, but it was rewarding.
For sure. Definitely just an overall learning experience. Now, let's get into it. So last year, for this year, FGSA was allocated $18,000. And so far, we have used up $3,131.16, while also having $10,524.91 specifically allocated. Also, that doesn't count taxes. So specifically allocated to already planned events. They just have to be set in stone, just completely, honestly, just had. We just have to have the events had and, that money gets used up. And honestly, just cutting to the point, for this year or for next school year, we want to have the same $18,000, but just transfer the amounts to different line items. And so here we can see the past 2 years allocations, and we can really see, the change between operating supplies, which is office supplies, subscriptions, and also the advertising promotion. And for next school year, we want to emphasize it's a bit in the way, I think, but we basically just want to cut school supplies from 250 to 0, subscriptions boosted up to I think it was 450. Yeah, 450. Advertising stay the same, and the other difference is school supplies. But overall, you can see that $18,000. We just want to keep it the same, just changing the line items. Now, to get into specifics, office supplies, we don't have an office, so we really can't give a reasoning why we want to keep office supplies as a line item. We are planning to use what we do have for our closets that we operate from. So that's pretty exciting, but really, we can't keep it. Subscriptions, that's where we want to reallocate it to. We use Canva Pro, but we also want to get a ChatGPT Plus subscription. Now you might be wondering why. It's really just to plan events, brainstorm, and help with our speaking points. And you might be saying that we should be doing all this by ourselves, but as we just said, we are really busy. We have just a very busy personal life, school life, work life, and it can get very overwhelming, which is why ChatGPT can really just help with specific points about, how to overall just plan the details for events, how to brainstorm, speaking points, all that. Advertising, we're keeping it the same. For this year, we want to use it for pop sockets and pins, which is a picture, for general advertising items. However, we also want to get notepads, these Apple stress toys, and another one that we're still planning, so we're letting our other board members plan for. But these notepads and Apple stress toys are really to emphasize, our theme going back to school, in terms of, we want to offer these free school supplies. We want to be known to, connect students to school and school resources. In terms of school supplies, we spent so far $1,530.81 for a single order for last semester. And of course, we want to put in a new order for this semester. And yeah, it includes tons of items. I'm not going to read out the entire list, but it's really just we want to boost it up to 3,050 because we want a bit more wiggle room. And in terms of the specific programming allocation, here we can see we want to keep it at 13,000, and this is the overall breakdown. Now, a few things may have changed since the creation of this PowerPoint, but overall, we want to make semesterly banquets. Last semester, we couldn't have a banquet because of the funding situation, but we want to have like a national first generation college student day mini banquets. We are gonna have an end of the year banquets, making UNO resources gift baskets, and I'll get back to that later. Having collaborative sort of events, and these are more so, I'm not sure if you guys have seen, but our social media has like an Instagram social media organization, or student organization social media highlights. And that project has been a way to, you know, raise awareness about student organizations on campus, and we want to do it in a sort of bigger way, sort of taking other organizations' visions and just making it grander, to draw attention to these smaller student organizations, and of course having professional development events and community events. We've already had close ties with Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Netherlands, and also the Barriento Scholarship Foundation. So we really just want a bit more money to, you know, help make these community events. And yeah, here's our upcoming events. Oh yeah. Real quick on the bottom, the UNO resources gift baskets. So what these are basically the self-care kits that FGSA would give from last year, but bringing it back to the FGSA theme. So we want to give STEM related gifts and resources. And of course, this is going to be raising interest on STEM while also providing awareness about STEM related resources on campus. And that would include the Math and Science Learning Center, the engineering tutors, and I'm forgetting one, but other like STEM related resources on campus, just as an overall way to, you know, just increase excitement about these resources. And yeah, the second one is business resources, but that one is actually being planned by separate board members. So I can't really give details on those just yet.
Awesome. Jerry covered all the nitty-gritty details, so I'm just going to present the upcoming events for this year and the ones we hope to continue next year as well. Some of the kind of milestone or events that we want to keep doing in the future is for sure the first generation mini banquets, just to honor the first generation students along with friends and family, either first gens or non-first gens who have supported their journey, because it takes a village, right? I can't see. So I'm gonna, that's fine. You know what? I'm sorry. Okay, so one of our goals this year is to do an end of the year banquet, kind of just repeating what Jerry said, is to make sure that we're celebrating first gens and their communities. Some of their event features is that we want to like publicly honor them and give them an opportunity to share their experiences. We also want to provide food and refreshments, and also maybe possibly, and we also, you know, want to give them like something that is going to honor them and kind of like a little keepsake for them in the future. This is still a work in planning, and this isn't just something Jerry and I are planning. We're planning this with our board members. So it's more details to come, but definitely is something that we want to put a lot of time and effort to. And that also means being able to put money towards that, right? Alrighty, so did I miss one? Okay, so the Valentine's Day event, we've just found out more information about the funding situation, but hopefully like either this semester or next school year, we'll be able to do a Valentine's Day event. And the goal is to basically foster a sense of community by engaging first generation students through a creative and empowering event. I think that sometimes Valentine's Day isn't just limited to romantic relationships. It's also about, you know, giving a shout out and love and support to the people that have supported you throughout your journey, and how to give back to the younger generations. So we want to compile or create videos using the phrase, I love being a first gen because, and we want people to attend that, you know, either submit like videos online or attend the workshop that day. And then this is super cheesy, but share with the hashtag first gen love or something like that, you know? Throughout this, we were really interested in customizing t-shirts for UNO first generation students and families to showcase both Maverick pride and first gen identity. I think this is awesome because what's amazing about first gen is it's not just first generations, it's an intersection of identities. It's different ethnicities, different religion, different sexuality coming together, right? And that's what I love about the first gen community. So we definitely want to create an educational workshop portions, and I think a couple ideas is possibly creating like mini heart collages with like pictures that kind of entail their experiences, or if participants are comfortable, and they choose to remain anonymous, kind of like basically a love letter to themselves, and we'll display it on our social media. Or another idea is writing positive messages or advice to seniors in high schools who are applying to college and getting ready to matriculate into college, um, or younger first gen students at UNO who are still feeling, really insecure about whether they belong in higher education. So some of the supplies needed are noted at the bottom. So that's where we would want our funds to go towards. And then an event I'm very excited about, which I'm excited about all these events, is called Empowering Connections and Building Bridges for a Better Tomorrow. This is an event that we plan to hold in late March, and we've me, Jerry, and the officers involved have already started planning and doing the outreach that we needed to. But exactly as what it says on the board, is to encourage collaboration between UNO first generation students, UNO students, period, and the Omaha community by providing an interactive and diverse networking experience. I think what's amazing about this, and I've said this like just seconds ago, is just that it's not just about being first gen, it's about different identities coming together. And that's what I'm so, so excited about. So some of our, and instead of like the traditional, having a tabling event and just having people walk through, what I'm excited about is that we really want to leave it up to the organizations. We just want to be the people that are, making the logistic things happen. But hopefully we'll be able to do like a volunteer matchmaking board, interactive nonprofit challenges, a walk a mile immersive experience. And kind of at the bottom, I don't know if you guys can see it, is my own little passion project. I like a community mural or community, like just something where like you ask us simple questions and people that come to this event can like note a little bit about like something that like they identify with, if that makes sense. So definitely wanting to provide food, wanting to, honor the organizations that are coming and or will be attending, and how they have been supporting the Omaha community. And yeah, and hopefully being, encouraging students to come, not just with like, oh my gosh, this is a really cool and interactive experience, but also like I could possibly win a giveaway, something like that. So as far as budget tracking, so those two or three events that we just talked about are things that we want to do this year and then do next year and in the future as well. Just little milestones, knowing that, we have not just smaller events, but bigger events that will hopefully make a lasting impact to the students on campus. As far as budgeting, budget tracking, we do have a treasurer that is absolutely amazing and does an amazing job at her job, an amazing job. And she is responsible for maintaining all invoices and receipts. We meet as needed before an event and as we plan. So she manages all like an Excel spreadsheet, like how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, all the invoices. All in the past, when we were still using the other platform, she would like put in the payments for reimbursements or like request to make purchases and whatnot. So that's how we've been keeping track of our budget, is just through our treasurer and then meeting at least once a month, because last semester we were doing workshops 1 or 2 times a month. So that kind of meets our requirement as like meeting before an event during the planning process. So yeah, thanks.
For that, just some final remarks real quick, sorry. Like, I just want to reemphasize that we are revamping our events, our purpose, our scope. And that's why this year has been very experimental for us, because at the end of the day, we really want to serve students who are unaware of campus resources who are not sure who to go for, who to turn to. We want to serve all these students, who just overall, we want to meet soft skills. We want to help them network with each other, build a community, and get in touch with the Omaha community. And overall, we just want to serve students who need help. But yeah, overall, any questions? Yes.
I just want to clarify, in one of the slides you had, you said that $3,000 will be used for collaboration with student organizations. With the interim plans in place stating that collaborations are not allowed with student organizations, could you just clarify what that collaboration will look like?
Yeah, yeah, so this slide was made before that interim process came out. But honestly, it really is, I'm gonna be honest, we fully just made this slide before we got news of the interim plan. And after already just trying to put in the purchase for one of gift baskets, but probably that $2,000 would probably just go back to the $4,000, and whatever's left over would be dispersed back into the professional development events.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
Point of clarification from y'all.
Are we allowed to approve as it goes into SABC anything that technically is not under the interim policy? So like, because it makes sense, it's an adequate allocation. But are we allowed to say like, yes, and I know that we don't deliberate until next week, but just because it'll have follow-up questions involved with it, are we allowed to have that in our SABC presentation, knowing that it's not allowed under the current interim process? Or like,
Yeah,
do we know what that looks like? Just as that's going to be a general question for the whole night too.
yeah, we won't know, clearly what the process of what expenditures will be allowed until, tomorrow's the Board of Regents meeting, where they're voting on an updated policy, which could change some things and streamline it. And then, furthermore, there's talk of ways of where it's not necessarily a collaboration, but it's like, a special thanks to this organization for planning, where it's a different sort of thing where it is solely a FGSA student government event, but there is like elements of supporting. So there's really talk about how that can work. So we're still in a little bit of a gray area there. But as far as it being moved forward as the Senate would like to see funds allocated towards this, the Senate can say that. Because if it's like, hey, this is not allowed, that would also then potentially wash out in the commission.
I would just like to clarify, like, even though that, like, with their current wording right now, collaborating with smaller organizations in the interim process as it is now, collaborations with other UNO agencies, any of the 6 agencies can happen. So I think like if next week when you guys are deliberating, you guys can probably, depending on, just consider collaborations with other UNO agencies, if that's if that's okay with our directors.
Oh, us? Oh. Yeah, that works out.
Is there any further questioning for agency directors?
For our next line item is going to be the presentation of Women and Gender Equity Center. Is there a presentation? This one. And then the clicker, yeah, the clickers should be there.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jess. I am the current director of the Women and Gender Equity Center. I go by she, her pronouns, and today I'm presenting our request for 25-26 fiscal year. Earlier this morning, I realized that my numbers were off by $300. So I updated it on this presentation and on the doc proposal that I have on the SharePoint. So that should be updated for everybody. It was just I just realized that the numbers were wrong from what I transitioned from Zoe to what Gina had given me. So it was just a $300 miscalculation from my end. But before I get started, I wanted to talk a little bit about our mission and what we do at the WGC. You know, we've been around for over 50 years. And we provide social and cultural activities that encourage supportive atmospheres for individual growth in students, regardless of their gender. You know, despite being the Women and Gender Equity Center, we don't only represent women. Even though women make up 50% of the population at our campus, we strive to represent every gender and gender equity across any gender that anyone may identify as. And over the next couple of years, and before this past couple of years, we've seen a lot of challenges with the work that we do with gender wellness and equity. And I think we'll continue to see a lot more of attacks on gender equity. We'll continue to see a lot more attacks on personal autonomy and education and community well-being, the things that we strive to protect on UNO community. So we really strive to, across whatever attacks that may be at a national, federal level, statewide level, we want to make sure that we're still protecting our UNO community with whatever autonomy that we still have within the privilege to be a Fund Day organization. So this is our budget request for our operational account. It's split up between professional development, dues, fees, and subscriptions, office supplies, sexual health, menstrual health, and parenting supplies. The increase that you see is with our sexual and menstrual health line items. We were told not to include salaries, so this is the budget without the salaries. And we are asking for a total of $24,700. Our professional development line item was allocated for last fiscal year at $1,200. In the past, this line item has supported students to attend Ivy Black Girls RG Summit in October with a keynote speaker of Angela Davis. And I was one of the people who went to that event. And as a woman of color and a Latina woman, I found it very empowering to be in a room with like-minded people. And I want to give that opportunity to future students to be able to go to these events. And I know Ivy Black Girl is doing their RJ Summit again in August. So we want to use this money to be able to take another group of students to this event and feel as empowered as I did that night. We've also done Train the Trainer self-managed portion trainings in the past. And I also had the privilege to be a part of those before I was a part of the WGC, and it's really vital to educate and inform people on taking charge of their bodily autonomy. I only had to do this training once, and I found it really impacted me as an abortion doula. And I know a lot of students on campus who also attended this this Train the Trainer self-managed abortion training also found it really empowering and educational. We also do our mega training with all the agencies across the board, and that's usually in the summer. And we use this line item to fund that mega training for new board members that are being brought onto our boards, and kind of plan for the rest of the year and collaborate between the agencies and set out a yearly plan. So we are requesting the same amount for the next fiscal year, and we plan to use that funding for any local conferences and summits aligning with our missions. So dues, fees, and subscriptions, this line item currently pays for a yearly Canva Pro account that allows us to make custom advertising material to put on our social media, posters around campus, and posters for our events like the Gateway and the Bullseye newsletter. And the remaining money pays for the fees and subscriptions that are associated with some of the menstrual products. Some of those have delivery and customs that are around like over $200, so that this pays for that as well. For office supplies, we were allocated 150 last year, and we are requesting the same for the next fiscal year. We have used this for Kleenexes, acrylic paper holders, tablecloths, string lights. That one has been really important. Our lights went out and we had to repurchase new ones. And with our pause on our direct collaboration with the Maverick Food Pantry, we have found it really important to make our office more accessible and more visible. For students who are trying to look for our office space, it's a little bit more hidden than people usually, and it's harder for people to find our office. So we're really striving to make the office more visible, through more lighting, more storage, more furnishing, along with other general office supplies that we may need across the year. And then this is our first line item for Essential Supply Program. This is one of the biggest programs that we have, and we've served over thousands of students with it for the past couple of years since its inception. We are requesting that this increases from $600 to $800. This line item currently funds pregnancy tests, cups for people to urinate, and we're looking to fund UTI and ovulation test kits for students. Our funds have been frozen for the past 4 months, but during this time, we completely ran out of pregnancy tests. And this product is the one that we have the most walk-ins for, so it's really vital for us to be in the office and have it accessible that people are there. And these products aren't just for women that are requesting them. We've had students come in before who need Plan B or pregnancy tests for someone in their life, or a friend, or a partner. So it's not just always like this. It's not just women that are requesting it. Our products are universally accessible to anybody to request for. And this graph is really sad and depressing to look at. This is the drop in our menstrual health distribution since we've had to move everything out of the Maverick Food Pantry. This is historically our largest project within ESP, and we're requesting to increase it for the next year because our goal is to have everything back in the Maverick Food Pantry by the end of this semester and the next couple of weeks. The audit and the administration deciding to pull everything has really decreased our numbers drastically. And the Maverick Food Pantry is already an established distributor of ESP, so moving everything out of there really disrupted that flow. You know, I've had students who come into our office and they're looking for products, and they said, oh yeah, I was just at the Maverick Food Pantry picking up some food, and I realized that they were low on the products that I needed, or they didn't have the products that we needed. And then they come into our office and they realize that we've closed for the day or no one's there. And it's really sad to see some stuff like that happen, and we're not really reaching the students that we usually did because we have to distribute out of Milo. So yeah, these numbers represent from July to January 23-24 to July to January 24-25 this year. Yeah, and you know, this decrease has also affected our fight to end period poverty on campus. And so I'm asking the Senate and CBC to be aligned in this fight to reestablish a partnership and distribute much more products to students. So this line item has also experienced some changes in the last year. We've reworked it, and we've worked really hard to try to still reach the same amount of students that we have before. Formerly, we were funding student parents at $25 every 2 weeks to bulk buying, and now we've moved it to bulk buying or baby wash, baby lotion, and baby wipes. We're still reaching students with this change, but my goal is to reach more students in the future in the next fiscal year, continuing to workshop this program so we have less barriers with it, with the bulk buying. and looking to add diapers in the future, baby food, anything that we can bulk buy, and still aligning with Fund Day policy. So this is our budget request for programming. We are asking for an increase from 12,000 to 15,000. And these are some of the events that we have put on or been a part of in the past 2 years. That includes the Clothesline Project, the Big O, Sex Ed Night, Week of Action for Abortion Access, Understanding the Unicameral, the Voices of Palestine Project, which is still up at the library, and the last day is tomorrow. So if you want to go check it out and you haven't already, it comes down tomorrow. Take Back the Night, which we are planning for April, as well as our Sustainable Mentor product in April. In the next couple of months, we're also planning Sex Ed Night with QTS. We're actually planning that for this month, as well as Understanding the Unicameral. That's for later this month. And with the GSRC closing, you know, everyone said that that work was still going to be there, and that LGBTQI centered program is still going to be there, and it's not. We haven't really seen it coming from SLAI, and even though that means it's giving QTS and WGC more work to do with that programming, I think we should still see that happening on our campus. And so that's why we're also asking for an increase, because we're trying to rework our programming to include some more of this. Like our Sex Ed Night, it's not usually queer focused, but this month is. Our theme is Queer Love is Resistance for this month, and GSRC used to put on events like this at a yearly, monthly basis, and now they're gone. So that has been really devastating to finally feel that loss on campus and feel those waves of those repercussions in the work that the university does. So this recommendation also accounts for Sodexo's food policy and any increases that we may see due to inflation, tariffs, any parcel services with getting things shipped to us. And yeah, like I said, Sex Ed Night with QTS is February 20th, and Understanding the Unicameral is February 26th. That one's off campus at the Highlander. We haven't posted those because we've been waiting for confirmations on MapSync. And we're waiting to have purchases secured for those, so we don't have an event with nothing for the event. But yeah, I would love to see more people of the Senate there, and shout out to Teresa for always showing up and always posting our events in the Senate team chat. I really appreciate that. So to conclude our presentation request, you know, we are recommending for 39,700. And this is accounting to a 15% increase. Our essential supply program has served thousands of students since the program start in ways that UNO never has. And the challenges that our communities face will continue to disrupt the operations of not only our organization, but similar ones across the country. And we are working really diligently I still have more, but it's working really diligently to make sure that we have spaces and events like this on campus, to make sure that essential supply survives and that we continue to serve thousands of students, and that graph doesn't look as depressing anymore, and that it looks better in the next year. That's really the goal, to continue to serve more students through the events that we put on, to continue to expand our demographic so it's more universally accessible. And I want to shout out our board, because they are some of the most incredible people I have ever met, and they helped me put together this presentation, some of these pictures. And I may be one person up here presenting this, but it takes a group of people to put the WGC together and to serve the amount of people that we do. So I'm really thankful to the board for supporting me for my first year. I've had a lot of joy serving the WGC and being the director. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity to present this budget, and I'll take any questions.
Sorry, I have another request for information for the side. Thank you for being here. I'm so sorry that my first question is just a random request for information. Because there was funding that wasn't used because we were not allowed to continue the programs that we were hoping to this year. How does the like surplus in budget work? Like, is it still accessible specifically to the reserves of WGAC, or does it get absorbed into ours? And I feel embarrassed that I don't already know the answer to that, but I just wonder, like, you know, do they still get access to it since it was allocated to them and it is rightfully supposed to be theirs? Or like, does it just kind of like absorb into us and we lend a helping hand? Like, I unfortunately don't know how that system works. And it wasn't until seeing that graph that I went, how do reserves work for our agencies?
Oh,
Oh.
sorry guys, technology is not my friend today. So how it'll work is it will be into our reserves. And then if someone were to write a resolution for, you know, for WGEC, QTS, or whoever has those remaining balances left over to access those again in the following year, that's how they can access those. But yes, it will go back into our reserves.
Senator Fishton Harding.
I know you did a lot of really fantastic events this year. Were there any like keynote speakers or events you guys are hoping to host next year? And that's more, I guess, out of curiosity myself, just like any that you're looking forward to and like specific ideas you have, just so we can take that with us when we have to do our big
Yeah.
presentation.
Something that I'm really excited for that we started talking about for the last couple of weeks is OPIL, figuring out how we can give students OPIL. We don't really have a pharmacy on campus, but figuring out a way that we can, I don't know, I heard that UNMC can't give out OPIL, but I know the Pride Health Clinic can, so maybe working with them to give out students. We can't give medical advice. That was a really big thing with like us giving Plan B, but that's something I'm excited to see maybe happen in the future. I don't know, I am excited to take students to Ivy Black Girls RJ Summit next year. I don't know who their keynote speaker is, but I heard it was someone big, like Angela Davis. So yeah, I'm excited for that as well. In terms of events, it's been a funky year, but the Big O, want to see that more often on campus. Some of the reoccurring events like Take Back the Night. This year, we were asked to be one of the 10 points of light. So that's really exciting. Yeah.
What is the 10 points of light?
I don't really know, but I have a meeting tomorrow at 3 p.m. So I'll let you know after that what it is. But we get it's with the National Take Back the Night. So it's with them, and then we get a keynote speaker flown out here. Yeah. So yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is there any further questioning? For our next presentation is going to be the International Student Services. Oh, Director Lacey.
Just for let everyone know, if you know, there is the form if you do have a question and maybe you're just too nervous to ask it. If you are, that's fine, but there is the form that I sent to you in the email today. If you do a question comes up later, just please make sure that you have those questions in there by midnight tonight. Thank you.
Welcome. Good night, guys. I just want to say thank you all you for your time over here. Maybe most of you don't know me. So I'm new around here, so it's nice to meet you all here. My name is Jose Estrada. I graduated from UNO last semester as an undergrad student. And now I'm a grad student pursuing a dual degree major. I'm doing an MBA and MAS, so I mean, I'm excited to work with all of you together, guys. So let's get this started. I represent the International Student Services, ISS. So yeah, let's get this started, guys. Right, so what is the purpose of our agency? Well, our purpose is to encourage students from all backgrounds to engage in meaningful cultural exchange, building lasting relationships, and gain deeper understanding of the world. Also, provide a welcoming and supportive space for all students to interact, learn, grow. And then provide students with a safe, respectful, and culturally rich environment where everyone feels valued and included. Then make every event a space for students to feel at home, connect, and share their backgrounds and all experiences. So basically, we want to encourage all students to expand their borders and being able to meet other people from all around the world. ISIS believes that relationships and networking are essential for success, and there will be nothing better than have relationships from all around the world. Also, ISS believes that every student that you know have a story to tell will share that feeling that is being about far from home to have professional obligations. So ISS wants to let their students that they are not alone. And here at ISS, it's a background of support. So how the funds will help the agency? Well, the fund will help the agency to achieve its goals by supporting events in which students will be able to socialize, try new experiences, connect, and also expand their work connections. By receiving these funds, we'll be able to host events in which students will be have a cultural experience and the possibility to reach out to other experience around the world. So the total quantity that is going to be required for ISS will be 26,376 for the 2025 and the 2026 year to cover all the event and media expenses. So well, one of our main events that we're gonna be making are conversation tables. The conversation tables are created with the goal for all of UNO students to know different backgrounds, meet different cultures, create a safe environment in which every student can meet and speak without feeling judged. The sources will be used. These events will be catering by Food by Sodexo, in which the students who arrive will have a pizza slice, breadsticks, a salad, a dessert, and a beverage. Then the event will be hosted only 2 Thursdays a month. There will be themes, different thematics, and different competition points, in which we always encourage student feedback and student input. The cost for these events are for the year 2025, it's going to be $4,662. Then the other events we're gonna be making are gonna be the international games and movie nights. The international games and movie nights will be great with the goal of introducing global games, movies which students are not used to. They will also lead to more socializing in between students and keep meeting new cultures. The sources that are going to be used at this event will be catering by Sodexo, in which students will arrive at the first, they will have popcorn with a beverage. In the other meetings, they will also have some donut holes with beverage. I mean, it will depend on what students want. And in order to make this event more dynamic, ISS will provide different games, different movies, and we're always going to be welcoming students' ideas at this background, as in the other game. So the cost of this event for the year of 2025 will be 3,200. And then we have then we have the International Banquet, which is one of our iconic events. The International Banquet has been in the UNO since 1970, and it promotes global awareness because it highlights the cultural richness that UNO have with all its students. The banquet has always been open to every student and puts staff and students together. It's a completely inclusive event. The sources for this event are the entertainment such as video and audio equipment, decorating materials, food catering by Sodexo, in which all students who attend the banquet will receive an international meal and beverages, and the event will mainly focuses on provide a delightful cultural exchange. The cost of this event on the spring 2025 is going to be 17,000.
So also in the banquet, there will be many dynamics and also gonna be dances and performance. In which students are gonna learn from different cultures and also they're gonna have they're gonna have ways to engage with each other. So well, the main items we're gonna be using the funds are gonna be on the food, the beverages, the snacks. The ones that are in Comas are just the projector. Well, that is in Comas because maybe we're gonna have someone that will have this. Then diverse international board games, decorations, security for the banquet, and also DJ services for the banquet too. Also, the rooms are in Comas because we're still looking for the places we're gonna be hosting the events, but the most probably think it's gonna be hosted by Maverick Village and some in Scott. So well, our bolded explanation is the items listed will be help us to successfully run the events and create the environment of biases. Is looking to open a space for all young students to expand their culture connections. Each item will help differently to every part of biases. With the items and tools of the agency, will reach a broader audience, promote quality entertainment, and promote global awareness. Well, also we are on a rebranding process. We want to share the students that we are more than a banquet and that we want all students at UNO to have a cultural experience, make learning collections from all around the world. There are many business and professional opportunities that students are able to reach with connections. But the most important thing to make is to make their college experience more enjoyable, also that create a feeling of belonging for anyone. So the funds are going to help us to host these quality events and reach a bigger audience at UNO. So well, how we're gonna be reporting and tracking the numbers? Well, the SS director, me, I'm gonna be responsible for preparing financial reports and also including the sales and budget expense. The system that are gonna be used to track these events are gonna be an Excel, so that's gonna be presented. And then the frequency of these reports are gonna be each month. If you guys, you have any questions?
What locations do you plan to host it was the conversation, the table talk, the conversation, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, what locations?
Well, we're planning to do it maybe on Maverick Village, also sometimes in the library. I mean, it will depend also sometimes in Scott campus. It's just we're just emailing other, well, who can help us hold this event without any cost. Yes, those are the three tentative places we're planning to host it. Also, just as your reference on the banquet, we're planning to host it on the Milo Village to the center and the playroom. So, yeah, you all guys should be there.
Thank you.
Sure. The others?
I have another general request for information. I'm so sorry that this keeps happening. Do we have anywhere located like a breakdown of each cost? Because I know each presentation is having like the large overall numbers, but did we ask agencies to provide like breakdowns of like, for example, just random example, if it was something like the banquet, did we ask them to provide breakdowns of how some of the pricing works or like office supplies or like, I don't know, like the receipts of how that funding was used within the last year?
Within the last year, we specifically asked them to focus on the future. Because we know that this last semester it was difficult with spending money just because there was a lack of it. So no, I guess the other like request, but we just said, please offer any materials that you wish to, use to present. So I didn't necessarily say you need to have an Excel spreadsheet breakdown. Some people did offer an Excel spreadsheet or more. Some people just, felt comfortable with the presentation. But again, if you request that, I can try to get it by next week if agencies are able to have that time, of course, given their coursework.
If we're requesting things that are like more specific breakdowns of like how was some of the pricing determined, would that just be easiest in like the Q&A box, since then you can send out an email?
That'd be great.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, sure. Any other questions, guys? No? Thank you for your time, guys. Appreciate it.
Our next presentation is American Multicultural Students, and Director Bailey has submitted a video for us. Since the video is 23 minutes and then agency presentation is 20 minutes, and she's also not here for 10-minute questioning, is there anyone that's interested in motioning to extend time for 20 minutes? Because the chair will be stopping the video at 20 minutes. Senator Gomez?
A motion to extend the speaking time or to allow the questioning time to be.
Oh, the meeting time. Is there a seconded? Senator Rye. And then is there a debate?
So are you motioning to merge the?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay, period, alright.
It was a little bit of important.
It's okay, Gio. Hey, you know what?
Oops. Oh, okay. Is there discussion for the motion?
We're doing, okay.
If there's no discussion, now what happens? Wait, say that again? Oh. Don't you?
No one, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Oh, yes.
So going back with Senator Gomez's motion, which has been seconded by Senator Rye, is there, now we're on to, is there any discussion on the motion?
No.
If there's no discussion, now now I'm asking for a period of voting. All those in favor say aye,
Aye.
and then all those opposed say nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The time has been extended.
We really think that less for $2,000 this year. Moving on to the AMS resources. This has been 2 years in the making, almost going on 3 years of our multicultural resource library. It is worth well over $1,500, and we consistently have been receiving donations. We are flowing with books in our office. One of the things that we really want to do to expand access is to look into and invest in a digital platform like Libby on Overdrive, where students will have 24/7 access to books. So that could be like for academic use, for leisure. We really want students to be able to educate themselves and have access to the books that they need. Things like an audiobook or if you need a screen reader, all of these things are featured in this app that we are looking at utilizing our funds from this year, a little over $3,000, which covers like the licensing, the web hosting for it. We're really asking for 2025 to 2026 for $1,575 to really be able to sustain the operations of the digital library. So that's looking at like $250 per month for like a budget on events on books that students could get. So like that might be like 30 to 50 books per month that can be checked out based on the different lending structure. I would love to answer any questions if you have any. There's some unique things about how that operates, but we really think that'll be enough, not only for the spring and fall semesters, but this is also something that can be used for students for summer classes as well, and especially for individuals who rely on financial aid, like first generation and low income students will also tremendously benefit for something like this. Professional development, we are asking for the same amount as last year. I know it says $1,200, but it's actually $3,000. We use our line item not only for internal board development, but also external, for the student body to have opportunities to attend conferences that can be extremely expensive. One of the ways that we help folks attend is like through giveaways and raffles. But above all, we definitely try to mimic and like mirror how UNO already organize and coordinates conferences. So like we've had attendees do written reflections, which I've heard from attendees, like it was really helpful for them, or excuse me, like attending a conference has really helped them with their career trajectory, like the speaker had an influence on them, or like they want to be a lawyer now, like all these different things that has impacted them. So that's kind of like the external side of how we use the professional development line item. More on the internal side, there's a lot of institutional knowledge that leaves, transitions of leadership. So we really need this line item to really focus on board growth and board development. What are the tools AMS members are receiving so they can effectively and efficiently lead our organization? This has a tremendous impact on the way our programming comes out, because
we are working together well as a team, or we have the organizing tools that we need to do a good event, or just things of that nature, managing conflict. That could look like getting a speaker to come in and talk at one of our meetings, that we can also invite other students to be a part of that process as well. So we really want to use the $3,000 to benefit the student body, but also really look at like board retention and board growth. Moving on to dues, fees, and subscriptions. For next year, we are requesting $275. Part of that decrease from last year is mainly due to plans to renew our membership to the Midwest Asian Pacific Islander DESE Student Union this year and not next year, as that's on a 3-year renewal. So this year, our needs are the Omaha Star and Canva. We really use the Omaha Star for one, for students to be able to access Omaha happenings, like in our office space. But also we use it in other unique ways. Like we launched a Umoja Unity newsletter where we share upcoming events from on campus and off campus, which we use Canva to design very unique content that appeals to students, and also flyers such as these. So shout out to Aaron, our public relations officer, who created these beautiful graphics and all of our beautiful graphics. That's why we are requesting $275 so we can continue to support the oldest Black-owned newspaper, the Omaha Star, and also a Canva Pro subscription. Next line item is office supplies. We feel that $150 is sufficient for our needs. This year we really plan to order like HDMI adapter, any other tech equipment that people need when they're in our office. Future plans for this line item is like really looking at creative storage solutions, as we have a lot of items that we want to be able to efficiently keep track of and organize in our office space. And also little things like paper, writing instruments, binders, other little office materials that we will need for our operations, which is why we are requesting the same amount as last year, $150. Moving on to the programming account, which is actually Cultural Center's student support line item, which is all about supporting the affinity spaces housed within Dash. The affinity groups being Black, Asian Pacific Islander, DESE, American, Indigenous, Latinx, which is managed by SLII. But these affinity spaces hold well over 15 organizations in these office spaces. So when you think about affinity spaces and groups such as these, what are those tools and supplies that they need? Things like paper, pen, and ink. One unique way we try to tie in our AMS resource line item, being our multicultural resource library, we also have a event rental equipment part of it. So like a speaker, our wagon, photo backdrop, investing in event equipment also, which student organizations and students are able to check out from us, that help with putting on events and also partnering and collaborating with them as well, which is why we are asking for $300. This year was definitely an odd year, and we can see the detrimental impact that this year has had on these student groups. Some that may not be returning next year. We ultimately just want to return to a fresh start for 2025 to 2026, as we've requested $3,000 2 years ago. So we really think that that number will be adequate enough for us to continue in supporting the affinity spaces and meeting those needs of students on campus. Lastly is our programming line item. In the fall, we hosted over 8 events for the student body, from our annual um, meet and greet. We toured El Museo Latino for Latin Heritage Month. We hosted a culinary workshop for Indigenous Heritage Month with Intertribal and a UNL department. It was a really cool department. Candidate forum, probably one of the first candidate forums led by students, speed dating style that had over 50 attendees. An anime and chill, a Let's Siesta, Comfy Cozy Study Fest, where we've partnered with different student groups to put on those events. We've hosted quite a bit. Liberation Reading Circle, which we kicked off in the summer of July, and we've been meeting ongoing. We've read 2 books so far. Freedom is a Constant Struggle by Angela Davis, and The Future is Still Disabled, which is our current book pick. So I'm really excited to see the continuation of programming like the book club. Like that's an ongoing, consistent programming that AMS has for students. One unique thing I would say about the culinary workshop is that event was like heavily promoted to students, to community members. Like we had a bus full of high school students show up, and like being able to reach prospective students is ties into the university's missions of supporting its students. And so to see those folks be on campus and be like, you know what, I'm at UNO because I went to an AMS culinary workshop. That's the type of impact that AMS has beyond the college students. We're also serving the community as well. Future plans this semester for school year as a whole for 2025 and 2026. We have some things planned for Black History Month, a film screening, which we would hope to show February 19th. Understanding the unicameral, February 26th is the day we're hoping to host that. Other things being a Black and Brown internship fair, events for Asian Pacific Islander Desi Month. We always love doing something for de-stress. Ongoing things like the book club, we would love to and hope to continue. Meet and greet is an annual thing. Touring, museum tours, like those are really important. And any other little unique events. How we tackled our request for $10,000 is we really estimated needing $1,000, like setting a budget of about $1,000 per month for events. So that can range from small, which might not need anything more than $500, to maybe even larger events, which could be $1,000 and up, especially when you're considering getting catering, and any other event logistics needs for that. So yes, that is why we are asking for $10,000 instead of the $14,000. As we requested $14,000, as last year was our 50th anniversary, so it was our celebratory year, and we've kind of transitioned from celebration. I mean, we're always celebrating and applauding the work that we do, but we are getting back into the regular programming needs, which is why our overall request is $20,000. Last year's took into account our 50th anniversary. That also included our salary budget, whereas this request does not have our salary budget. But we still we did a very thorough analysis of what the environment would be like next year, capacity, considering events that we wanted to host next year, and what we really needed in order to operate to do those things effectively on behalf of the students. So that is our budget request. If you have any questions, please feel free to read through our proposal detailing our budget that you have, and also visit our link tree at UNO AMS. It has all of our links, our upcoming events. You want to subscribe to our newsletter, feel free to bookmark this. We would love to have you at some of our upcoming events. And yeah, that was just a little bit about AMS, some of the plans that we have for next year. And above all, we are excited to be here, be a resource for all students in the 2025-2026 academic school year. All right, thank you.
Senator Rango.
I motion to move to GRU for 10 minutes.
For 10 minutes. Is there a seconded? Senator Brady, no debate required. Now we're on to a period of voting. All those in favor, please raise your placards. And then all those opposed, please raise your placards. In the opinion of the chair, we move to GRU for 10 minutes. For
Yes.
10 minutes.
Dude, I got like a just very nice.
GRU and limitation of services due to potential conflict of interest. First two leadership by Honorable and Ambassador.
Is there SABC?
SABC.
That's for agency votes. They're not sharing.
Alright.
What's the worst thing?
So you
I mean,
Fun of the game. And they told me to start, and all I did was like, that's not.
Okay, yeah, let's.
Alright.
I came in with my little army.
For our next presentation is gonna be Network for Disability Awareness. And then Director Seifen, Interim Director Seifen, that's what it's called. Staff member. NDA. This one. I do cool. I don't know.
Why, what were you doing?
Hmm. No.
Well, you can go to the first one then, I think that one's for seven. Not very bad. Okay.
Honestly, we can definitely just. Wonder if does that clicker work? Can you like move down? Make it easier for you. No. Most likely you have to use. We can avoid this.
Hey, hello, everybody. I'm Ella Stephens. I'm the interim director for NDA. I am here to present my budget. So my agenda for today is my purpose, budget summary, detailed budget allocation, and then monitoring and reporting. So the purpose of Network for Disability Awareness is to make the campus a more accessible place for all students and to educate on the needs and accessibility. The overall goal of NDA is to just make campus a more accessible place for all students, no matter what their disability is. We also, one of our big goals is to provide educational resources for students, faculty, and staff. So funding, last year we were allocated $11,000. Not a lot of this money was used due to some management changes, but we're asking that the $11,000 budget remain. Our funding request would be for tabling, our trivia night, our hot chocolate event, our blankets for veterans event, our stress management event, and an AMS collaboration project we're doing. So for tabling, we're requesting $2,000 for swag items like stress balls, pens, bags, other things. The NDA closet has been kind of depleted over the years, and we just are looking to restock it. We want to bring attention to NDA and increase membership. Since NDA is just getting revamped, we just want to bring in new people. Okay, our trivia night, we're requesting $1,000. We're looking to bring in a trivia company to host this as we're going to hold it next October, which is Disability Awareness Month. It would be open to all students, and we'd be providing food and possibly prizes, like raffle prizes, depending on obviously the interim budget plan and everything that happens with that. So the trivia would be a mix of disability facts and randomized trivia because it would be focused towards Disability Awareness Month. So for our hot cocoa event, NDA is requesting $1,500 for supplies for hot cocoa as well as games. In December, we all know that people just want to de-stress from finals, and this would be a great way to de-stress as well as bring awareness to around campus about NDA's values. Our next event is our blankets for veterans. We're requesting $3,000. This event will be held in March, and we are opening it up to all students to help make tie blankets for disabled veterans, both on campus with Veterans Affairs and off campus with the UN, with Omaha VA. We want to provide lunches for all the veterans and then snacks for all students on a first come, first served basis. Our stress management speaker, we're requesting $2,000. This will be in May of next year. To help with finals and the stress of finals. We would just want to hand out some food, have a speaker come in to all students and discuss how they can help manage the stress with finals. Our AMS lunch, NDA is doing a collaboration lunch with AMS to discuss the overlap between racial and disability justice. The money would be going towards food as well as other expenses that might be incurred during this lunch. To track our budget, we will be using a spreadsheet. This will be accessible to anybody who wants to view it. All budget summaries will be kept in both a paper and digital copy. We report the budget monthly and we request funds 3 weeks in advance. We're responsible for reports and review, and we plan to attend finance meetings as needed. So NDI is requesting $11,000, leaving the budget unchanged from last year. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for being here. I had a question because I saw that there was like the initial request for amount for swag items, and then there's more deposited within the slides, which first of all, thank you for all those details. Very nice presentation. Do you know how much the total is altogether with the things that you request, like the swag items specifically, or the branded items specifically that you're requesting with that total, and then also the ones that are like in there? Because I know that there was
When I say handing out, sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're okay.
Handing out swag items, we would be using the same from
Okay.
tabling that we
Perfect.
requested. So,
I kind of figured it might be, but I was like, I just wanted to make sure for like
no, that's
mentally keeping
clear.
track.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any further questioning? Awesome. Our next presentation is from Queer and Trans Services.
My co-presenters as
It's late. Does the Senate want to extend motion? Senator Hirschman Harding,
I moved a group for 3 minutes to allow the other co-director to arrive.
is there a second? Senator Piper? No debate necessary, and then we're on to straight of voting. All those in favor say aye,
Aye.
and then all those opposed say nay. The Student Senate has now moved to group for 3 minutes.
Oh.
All
Alright, but you now have 3 minutes because I just moved the group for 3 minutes. You get to hang out for 3 minutes.
I am so sorry.
No, you're okay.
Do you guys need 2 microphones or 1 mic?
2, 1. Sure, 1 would be
One.
fine. Don't worry.
There's a time. The 19th, yes. No, presentations, that's it. It's 5 to 10. But yeah, you don't have to.
Someone else would just. Like, we don't even know. She didn't know that was. Hey. That's what you're. Okay, I figured that if worst came to worst, we realized we could advertise that as you're not allowed to vote, or like you're not allowed to. That's hard, like. Yeah.
But.
But they just can't vote. So, but that's true, of 3 out of 12. So like. I don't know, I have my diet coke, yeah, I got my coke, and that's fine, because it's still. As long as there's no tie, but even then, it's fine, because then just split it, yeah. But. I was like, I was sitting there and I was like, I mean, I figure that it, like, if they wouldn't. I don't know. It's like. Technically. FYLC.
And in the bylaws, it explicitly named and.
So it's back to recess or back from recess?
I was like, I just.
Our agency, we doesn't, we don't.
But whatever, it'll be fine.
Hey girlies. Okay, let me introduce myself. I am Lawrence Wilson II. I am the sole director for Career Transgender Services. And
hello, everyone. I'm the reason we had a 3-minute recess. I'm Leaf. I really apologize. I thought I had more time, but here we are now. And yeah, we'll just get right into it. I should really introduce who I am. I am work as primary recruitment over at QTS, and we're just going to go through our budget.
oh yeah, my pronouns are he, him.
She, they, please.
Wait, I don't know. I'm just clicking the forward button. I'll have to click that. Oh, that's a gap. That's crazy. Ooh. Oh, okay. Let's see. The first thing I want to introduce is how many y'all y'all know about Queer Transgender Services? Okay, I'll take that as a rhetorical no. So Queer Transgender Services' primary goal is to serve not only the queer population of the student body, but the student body broadly, as primarily as a first point of contact for queer culture on campus, because we are in a red state and a lot of out of town students that not immigrate, that come to our school sometimes come from very, very red areas in which being queer is not accepted at all. So for many people's first time, this is maybe the first time encountering queer culture. Let's see, how we determine the number specifically is that we got our numbers from our previous spending numbers from the business office, collaborating with Gina Hodeling, and our previous expenditures for the last fiscal year could be found within our reference items that we provided in our PDFs. Our first section will be our operating.
So these are our general operating costs. Again, we got these numbers from previous year's expenses. And so for advertising, we'll want about $500 so that we can help spread awareness of our events and what we're all about, more about those events in a little bit. And we will also need office supplies. We have an office over in Milo Bale that anyone is free to use. In there is computers, printers, anyone can use them. It is mainly meant as a safe place for people to get their work done, but anyone can go in there.
And our next line item will be introduced by telling y'all what is MPLTAC. It is the Midwestern Bisexual, Lesbian, Transgender, Asexual College Conference. It is held annually within the Midwest. And last year, which Leaf accompanied me with, was we held it in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan, Marquette specifically. The goal of MPLTAC specifically is to basically empower the students that attend there to make their own colleges a better safe space for LGBTQ students.
So it's here that it's very important to realize that, again, these are numbers from past years. This next upcoming year might look like less because, one, this year, MPLTAC is happening in Fargo, North Dakota, which is significantly closer than the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and also a lot less remote. So there's a possibility we won't even need plane tickets to get there. We could just rent out a van and drive for 6 odd hours. But everything else is about right here. MPLTAC admission is $100 per student. Hotel accommodations totals to about $500, and a rental car, maybe looking into a rental van, $150, maybe boosted up to $200, depending on the size. But yeah, plane tickets, again, these are just rough estimates from what we got last year. It might look like less this year, allocated specifically to MPLTAC.
And the main reason why we go to MPLTAC is to take the information learned from MPLTAC and implement it into our general programming, which we will discuss later on. The reason why that this specifically falls under the definition for broad-based students is that with the information we gain from the programming that we gain from there, we implement it within our programming, which is open to the broad-based students. For anyone that can come, even the generic straight white male can come in and join our events if they want to. Now our general programming section.
So in this section, we're going to get into all of our events that we do right here on campus, starting with the Sunshine and Snowflake Socials. These are a long-standing tradition we have at the opening semester of opening week of both semesters. And for both of these, we'll want about $250. This is simply just for food. And this is just a great opportunity for new students here at UNO to get involved in the queer scene. And having one of these events is a really good look for the university because us being a very diverse and included university will attract more students I don't know that a lot of high schoolers would want to go to a university that outright excludes and ignores some groups that exist. So having this in the first week is a really good look, and it will up enrollment numbers. And again, anyone is free to come to these events. It is not exclusive to queer students. If straight people or cis people want to come here, that is totally fine. We will welcome and love them, and we are always looking for more allies.
All right, the one and only Homecoming Drag Show. I'm sure y'all already know about this, but I'm going to explain it anyway. So what is a drag show? So basically every homecoming week, every homecoming week, we collaborate with Maverick Productions. Shout out to y'all. We collaborate with them to host a drag show. Specifically, Maverick Productions pays for the headliner for the drag show, and QTS pays everything else for the event, like lighting, the local drag artists that also perform. And the drag show is primarily a fundraiser for local LGBTQ or nonprofits. Like, for example, last year we donated our funds to Omaha for Us, and we precisely donated $484.64 to Omaha for Us. And last year, 143 people showed up to our drag show. Iconic. And the following photos are from Maverick Communications. Thank you, Ryan Sutherland. We love you. Look how much fun everyone's having. Look at that person like screaming their life away. Pretty cool, right? Those are some of our local performers. The one on the right, Don't Resuscitate, love her. And our headliner, Heidi N Closet. Each year, we try to get a different headliner from Drag Race. And this year, we successfully got Heidi N Closet. The girls and the gays and the allies loved her so much. Like, it was absolutely insane. I think at the show, Heidi said that our crowd was uniquely electric. So that was pretty iconic. And our budget breakdown. So for we primarily contract Midwest Sound and Lighting, in which to get their services in total, we are projecting $2,100, and also the usage tax fee, which is like $150. We pay the local drag queens in total of $2,000. We pay the MC $500 because she is MCing with the headliner and also performing. The local drag queens get $300 each. We also, since we pay for everything else, we pay for hotel accommodation and transportation. And for next year's Homecoming Drag Show, I actually want to do a photo booth because I think that'll be really cool to solidify memories and stuff like that. And for the food, this year we provided food for the drag queens so that they have stamina doing all those spins, dips, and what did they call it? Oh yeah, death drops, I guess. And finally, we also have decorations to go with our theme that we have every single year. Like for this year, the theme was Paint the Town Red. It was pretty iconic. The main reason why we pay the drag queens is because per UNO bylaws, we can't allow students to tip the drag queens. So we pay the drag queens for material programming, and everything else is available to the student body. So if like literally anyone can come along to the show and have as much fun as they want.
Next, we're going to talk about Queer Prom. This is an event started by our previous director, Lewis Kirk, in the spring 2023. And it is meant to be an all-inclusive prom, since a lot of our students are coming from rural areas that maybe wouldn't allow a same-sex partner to go to prom. We aim to remedy that, to have anyone show up with any partner they want in any attire they want. But again, it is not closed off to people who are not queer. And so every year, similar to the drag show, we pick a certain theme. The first year, it was the Galaxy Prom. It had a nice space theme. But last year, we had the Great Gatsby, which was Art Deco-y and 1920s. It happens late in the spring semester, typically when a high school prom would be going on. And yeah, we're just gonna get further into it.
Finally, before we go on to the event budget breakdown, this year's theme is Garden of Eden for all those sinners, period. So for next year's queer prom, we contract Midwest Sound and Lighting because they're really good. But for this time, we're just going to scale back our uses of them, and we're just going to ask like $900 from them. We're buying our food from Sodexo, they're expensive. And for decorations, same thing. We are just going to add decorations to enhance the general atmosphere. And next year, I want to also include a photo booth for the same reasons why I wanted to include a photo booth for the homecoming drag show. Because especially for having photos at queer prom, that may be the one of like the first time in somebody's life in which they can like go to their queer prom as their queer authentic selves. That's the justification over that.
All right, now we're going to talk about the De-Stress Fest events. These happen every semester near the very end, typically either dead week or finals week, or whenever De-Stress Fest happens. And yeah, we typically just rent out a room in Milo Bale. We get catering through Sodexo, which is why we would need about $500 each semester for that. And we typically also have some little games and activities you can do for that. Like all of our events, it is queer focused, but not closed off to anyone. So yeah, no, a few semesters ago, we had crochet, coffee, coloring books, and other things that start with K. Yeah, it was a very fun time. Happens every semester. $500 for catering. Again, it's a very good look for us to have these inclusive events like this.
QTS uniquely is, I think, one of the only few student organizations to operate in the summer. We walk and table in Heartland Pride. It takes place during July, funny enough, because the College World Series takes place in Pride Month. I have my reservations, but we primarily collaborate with SLI for this event specifically. We hand out QTS related merchandise. So primarily, we're going to be handing out t-shirts and bottles with our logos on it. This broadly benefits the oncoming students because that will future broadcast that the UNO is a queer accepting space. And sometimes a lot of students look for those specific aspects because I know some students may not even want to come to the university if they don't know if there's like a diverse or inclusive environment.
If I may give a quick personal experience, I myself chose UNO because I thought they would be so inclusive and that they have been. Okay, so now we're going to move on to some unique days. Okay, now we're going to move on to some unique days in the queer community. So first of all, we're going to start with Coming Out Day. Like all of our other events, we're going to want catering, which would probably total to about $220. It celebrates Coming Out Day, spreads LGBTQ awareness, and there's also Transgender Remembrance Day. We have a vigil every year. We'll want about $100 for that. We use this to educate people on transphobic hate crime that happens every year. It's a sad phenomena, but one that deserves a lot of attention and respect. And
okay. For the next semester, the board and I really want to ramp up doing new events. So we want to do educational screenings relating to LGBTQ topics. This is actually came from when we came back from Impotech this year because at one of the sessions they were talking about like how the relationship between queer activism and films. And I want to implement that into our general programming to open that to the general student body, because I generally do believe that having these films relating queer experiences to this broad-based students would make us more make our group more empathizable. Is that a word? No. Primarily, I want to do these educational screenings 3 times a year, three times next semester. So that's why our budget allocation for that is $950, because we'll be primarily using it for Sodexo food payments. And for monitoring and reporting, we primarily use a Microsoft Excel sheet monitored by myself and a volunteer board member. And either me or the volunteer board member will meet with Sierra and the budget of director of finance every single month or so to make sure that we're spending within our budgets. We have plans for the spring semester.
This is what our remaining budget looks like currently. We have some for general programming and quite a bit more for operating. We plan on using that money for new office supplies. We're thinking new computers, new printers, more printer ink, and other things that would just improve quality of life. But on the whole, when it comes to our general programming, Queer Prom will take up a majority. Again, our theme is Garden of Eden. And later this semester, we will also be collaborating with Transgender Day of Visibility with the SLII office, and also collaborating with SLII on Lavender Graduation, which happens every year near graduation to just honor the queer and trans students that are graduating this semester or the semester before. And yeah, that's our spending plans.
Thank you for your time. Okay, end of presentation. Do y'all have any questions? Going once? Dang, all right.
That does conclude new business, and then next to our next item of business is executive reports. Here is the report from Regent Adidam. And then for my report, well, the Senate appointments, one of them is going to be Rebecca Gomez. She's going to be appointed for next week for Graduate Studies Senator. And then afterwards for next week is going to be deliberations and being able to approve the budgets of SGA as well as its agencies. And then they're able to be able to discuss with each other and decide what is best for us for Student Government Association. And then Stands for School is a nonprofit organization that's planning on coming for our circuit meeting for this month. And then the SJ retreat has been canceled. The 2025 Planning Committee has decided to do something different. We do want to host this retreat during March 6th at 7 p.m. And then more information will be coming your way. We do want to do an escape room. An escape room form has been sent to Regent Adidam, has filled out the form. So we're able to see what's going to happen if we're able to do the escape room. And then something that I did want to try something differently is that Director Hammond and I decided to do an orientation folder. So this one is just a bag, a drawstring bag, as well as the stress gavel, as well as the orientation flyer. If anyone's able to scan this QR code, it will guide you to this document, able to see what's going to be happening, just more information about student government, its agencies, and learning more about Robin Field orders. So that's something new that I would like to implement this year. So yeah. And That should be my report. Chief of Staff Ossick for your report.
Hi, so, I'll keep it, a little bit brief. I've completed well, I'm working on a draft of a change to the policy. I'd be happy to pass that on to any senators who are interested in taking that up as a resolution, as a recommendation for changes to the student handbook. It should address most of the, problems people have been having for a while. Aside from that, last week I went to the Capitol to testify in favor of there's a bill it was similar to a bill that came up last year that was bike share, funding for bike shares, from the state. I've not yet heard if it made it out of committee. Unfortunately, I think no news is bad news, but we'll see. And that's really all I have to report.
And then Director of Administration of Gonzalez is not here. Now may we have Director of DIA Wins report.
So I emailed any directors that missed the interim purchasing plan meeting that we had last week. So I'll be meeting up with them next week. And then NDA has 3 board members. So great job to Ella Steffens, who's our interim director for NDA. We finally got the Instagram back up, so I will be working with Director Mai to post a few things for Black History Month. And then lastly, so I will be sitting in on Rules Committee meetings from now on surrounding a policy about the employment of directors and student workers, and I already let Carlos know, and then the rest of DEI committee.
Have Director of Finance Lacey report.
Yes, so this week, Senate successfully, thank you in advance for appointed all of our student senators or our students that were up here tonight. Had my regular scheduled one-on-one with Sierra on Monday. And then we also, Senate also successfully appointed Senator Benitez as one of the SABC commissioners. One announcement that's not on here that I would just like to make is if you do have any questions about the presentations that were given tonight, please try to have those in by 10. I know I originally said 12, but we got done super early, sooner than I expected. And also agencies that are still here, I will send you an email tonight because we have one question for sure. And then just fill that out at your earliest convenience.
Since we do not have a Director of Integrity, now we're on to, well, Director of Leadership Development also, and here is her report. Then Director of Marketing Mai's report is on the screen too. There we have Director of Recruitment Hammond's report.
Do I need a mic? Am I good? Yeah, since school started, I've had a lot of interviews for commissioners, for senators. That's pretty exciting. I did have a couple fall through, so if you know anyone in the college or if you know anyone in CPACs or in fine arts and media, that'd be interested in being a senator, please have them reach out to me. And yeah, I'm in the Student Engagement Committee and have some exciting stuff coming.
And then may we have Coordinator of Student Wellness, Irizami Gums report.
Yeah, well, Ishani, we in Adam requested to add 4 new resources to the resource guide. Those are being added pretty quickly. On Wednesday, I had a meeting with Nolan to confirm 2 definitions for not only ourselves as student organizations and Greek life to add to the resource guide. Also, we're working on with MapPro and the Gateway to get their definitions for the resource guide, and they will be included in the final draft. I got interviewed by the Gateway and my Institute Hunger-Free Campus bill. More information on that will come out throughout the weeks, but it's going to be a very exciting initiative that you guys will hear about these semesters. New responsibility in the DI committee, basically just like Teresa announced, yes, basically like primary advisor for that committee, and we'll be doing the work there. I will be interviewing a lot of the education committee from the Nebraska legislative branch, and it's a process that we need to go through that in UNL, and we're doing great. And I talked to my process secretary, but yeah, that's basically the report.
And then Budget Committee Chair Carlton Palacios report is on the screen. May we have Civic Engagement Committee Chair's Piper's report?
Hi guys. Not really much. We have an event coming up in February so far. And then we have two other dates that we're also gonna plan things, as long as those things are like great. Love that. I don't know. We'll just see about that. And yeah, I'm not gonna say too much about it, but it's eventful times.
May we have DIA Committee Chair's Valaderas report?
Okay, sorry. Okay, so for DIA committee, we talked with Carlos and how he connected with UNL senators, and we talked about their responses, and then we talked about how it has been kind of hard to reach out to UNK DIA, and then we are trying to set up a meeting with UNL DIA committee and our committee to talk about initiatives and such.
May we have Outreach Committee Chair's corresponding readings report?
Hey. So a lot of what we discussed last meeting, especially because it's currently a small but strong committee, is, we discussed iHeart NU Week, specifically iHeart NU Day, which happens at the Capitol, and iHeart UNO Day, which we're in charge of helping coordinate. We talked a lot about the transportation and just trying to make that as equitable as possible, and some possible collaborations with the Civic Engagement Office. We'll keep you updated as we know. We're just looking into specifically some of the logistics about getting transportation there. Like, how does that work under our current budgeting, and who do we talk to, and yada, yada. So we're working on that. Then we also talked about like honors graduations and the end of year celebration, just because my goal for this year was to plan that extra early, and then the way that we allocate funds changed. So we are tentatively planning a lot of that because we don't know exactly how much of it will be in charge of actually planning. But a lot of what we were looking at is also like graduation stoles and how we're still going to honor people and honor ourselves as a group, even depending on what that celebration is going to look like financially and logistically. So if you have any ideas, then let me know. And that's it.
May we have Rules Committee Chair's Rise report?
We're working on two things right now. We're gonna add the accommodation statement to the policy index / bylaws. And then as Director Wen said, we're gonna be working on drafting a formal employment policy for agency directors and student workers.
And then our next item of business is good of the order. And then this good of the order is describe your winter break with one word. And then how to describe my winter break is band.
Nippy.
I didn't know what that word.
Sorry about that. That's not a great word. Like it's cold outside, you know, like that.
Right.
Oh, yes, Rebecca.
Let's go with say beachy.
Brian, like that. Nazarene,
Firing.
Talia,
Busy.
Gabby,
40. 6.
Crazy.
Hannah,
Cat.
Relaxing. 44.
Napping crying.
Shorts. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Paula,
Oh, need warm.
or Jess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Sierra, how will you describe your winter break like one word?
Eventful.
Next item of business is adjournment. Senator Rangel.
I motion to adjourn this meeting.
Piper. Now, is there a period of debate?
No.
No. Not all in favor, please say aye. Say nay. And the opinion of the chair, the name will be good.
Who's a name?
I'm gonna say. You can stay here, sit down.
Nice. This is just going like. Here.
No, my effective.